Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. It's so stormy where I live right now, so if you hear some raining or thunder in the background, it is the ongoing storm, but it's also kind of setting a nice ambiance for the reading. I would love to know how the weather's been, where you've been recently. Also, I do have my coffee and water here with me, so if you hear me sipping in the background, that's what that is. And as usual, I would love to hear from you in the comments if you have some kind of comforting beverage or snack while you are listening. This is our regular collective reading, and for those of you who are new, I want to go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Infinity, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. I hope you're all doing really well coming up on this weekend. I would love to know if you have any weekend plans or anything going on. So there were a lot of messages coming through this morning while I was meditating, and it's been a while since I've really felt guided to journal quite a bit during a meditation, but the quantum field felt really active and I'm picking up on a lot of crown chakra stimulation. So you actually may be finding that you are receiving inspired ideas right now, or maybe you have your own form of journaling when these ideas come through, just like I like to journal during meditation. Maybe it's not traditional journaling for some of you. This could be any creative endeavor, anything that you are using as a tool or a medium to kind of process these energetic downloads. And I am receiving a bit of a message that if you aren't necessarily taking the time to sit with this crown chakra energy, it can actually be a bit ungrounding, almost as though it creates a kind of buildup in your crown chakra. So it can be really beneficial if you've been feeling a lot of like heaviness or stagnancy, to find some way to channel through that energy to kind of process it. And of course, this could be something that you are sharing publicly or with others, whether it's something creative, or for some reason I saw someone creating some sort of like text post that they were posting online somewhere, or whether this is you just internally processing, sitting with the energy, journaling, meditating, whatever this is for you, that energetic hygiene seems especially important right now. So I'm hearing something about pop-up storms, which is interesting because that's kind of what this storm was here where I am. It actually was really sunny, and I was even talking to my mom about how beautiful the weather is today. And then all of a sudden there was this storm out of nowhere. So for some of you, you may actually notice that you are feeling really good, really high flying, and then suddenly at times it's like you have a pop-up storm, metaphorically, emotionally, energetically, a moment where you have to kind of return back into yourself, where you might feel temporarily a little bit low energy or ungrounded. Know that that is completely normal. And I'm just hearing that whenever that happens for you, it's a sign to just let yourself sit with that energy and do with it what you feel guided to do. But it's a sign to pause if you can create that space for yourself to just be still, to just reconnect internally, and to do with that energy whatever you feel guided to do. And you'll know when you've kind of sat with it or processed it, because you will feel lighter after this. Now, this doesn't even have to be an active processing. I just saw a flash of lightning as well. That's a little sign of confirmation. This doesn't have to be an active form of processing. I know you can probably hear the thunder coming through there too. At times, it can be incredibly powerful simply just to pause, to be still with yourself, even to just do something that relaxes you, to let yourself like order food and watch your favorite show, or just relax, or just be in your own energy. Whatever this is for you. That is like the biggest crash of thunder I think I've ever heard in my entire life. It's very interesting that I caught that on recording. That really makes me want to kind of look up the potential symbolism here. Hold on. maybe something has gotten really loud in your life. Maybe it's like an external influence or an external voice. Okay, so let's dive into it. I love when the reading kind of intertwines with something happening in real physical lived life experience. So it can represent divine communication. Well, that's very synchronistic because we've been talking about you receiving a lot of divine communication, so to speak, through your crown chakra. Thunder is often seen as the voice of the divine, a dramatic call from the universe or higher power to wake up or pay attention. It can also represent sudden insight and epiphany, clarity breaking through confusion. Wow, maybe that's something you've been experiencing, or repressed emotions releasing, leading to greater power and transformation. Specifically when it comes to the masculine energy, that's very interesting. So for some of you, there may actually be, for example, if you are a divine feminine, you may have a masculine in your life going through a very loud awakening. And when I say loud, I mean very sudden, very abrupt. For others of you, if you resonate more with your masculine, this could actually be a clarity coming through within you, that you are actually like ascending to this higher level of spiritual wisdom within yourself in some kind of way. Okay, so I'm hearing divine timing is everything. And it's very interesting because even the timing of recording this reading was different than what I was expecting. And this actually connects with a message that I journaled through to finally circle back to some of those journaled thoughts, because I did write down a lot during my meditation and journaling session. So I'll kind of be weaving those ideas in. I have my journal here for reference. But okay, so what I feel is connecting here is the concept of spontaneity. So I actually wrote down the word spontaneity, and I also wrote letting go creates space. But when I wrote letting go, I felt that this was not so much a physical letting go as an energetic or emotional letting go of control, letting go of the known realm, letting go of needing to have these rigid frameworks or structures in our lives to feel safe, allows us to open ourselves to divine inspiration that presents itself in the form of what we would often label as spontaneity. So these spontaneous ideas, thoughts, moments of alignment that guide us in certain ways that lead to magical outcomes that we wouldn't have been able to experience or get to if we had been trapped in these rigid frameworks or ways of doing things. And it's funny because when it came to this reading, if I had followed my own rigid framework, which would be to record this reading earlier in the day, then I wouldn't have had this reading just naturally line up with that thunder and lightning that came through, which I wasn't expecting to happen at this time. So I feel like this is another kind of sign of confirmation that there is a higher divine timing. There is a higher order to your life right now that you are aligning with as you allow yourself to be spontaneous, as you allow yourself to open to being moved by life, by divine inspiration in the moment, rather than needing to have everything rigidly planned out in advance. So an interesting thing I also wrote down about spontaneity that came through is your intuition is guiding you in the moment. Not only are you no longer able to control the steps, but you're no longer able to control the, and then in quotation marks, I put goals. And I know this message sounds kind of strange and it felt kind of odd even as I was writing it, but I was realizing that so much about this releasing of control that we've talked about has been about releasing the path to get to what we define that we want, releasing what those steps are going to look like, releasing the timing. But there's a higher level kind of happening here that I know many of you are experiencing as well, where even when it comes to defining exactly what we want things to look like, some of us may struggle to do that. Yes, we may have certain things we'd like to experience, certain feelings, certain types of connections, certain sorts of outcomes in a general sense. But what I've been noticing collectively is that for many people, it's getting more difficult to create extremely rigid, hard and fast goals. It's almost like our souls are becoming even resistant to trying to decide in a concrete way for ourselves consciously exactly what we want, because we recognize that when we get into that divine flow, that kind of dance with life, sometimes the things we attract, the things we manifest, the things that become available for us to experience can be more magical than we ever really could have envisioned from that conscious perspective, if it makes sense. So it's almost as though the soul here is saying, open me up to those experiences that are in my highest interest, for my highest good, in my highest alignment, harmonious with all of my personal mix of desires, and not just the conscious ones, but the subconscious ones as well, and see what the universe serves up as you stay in that divine flow. I'm just sensing that for many people listening, there's been a resistance even to those concrete metrics of quote unquote goals, if that makes sense. Because there's almost a surrender even in that. Like, I know that as I stay in this flow, what comes to me and when it comes to me is going to all be in harmony with every intent and desire I currently hold or have ever held. I'm even picking up on that the universe takes into account here things that you may have even forgotten about that you asked for. And don't be surprised if certain things show up in your life that you may have thought, wow, I remember wanting this so deeply, but I didn't ever really define it as a goal, or I kind of forgot about it or put it on the back burner. And then you're just dancing with life in this surrendered state, and it just shows up. This is 5D manifestation. This is manifesting from the 5th dimensional level, and it's happening now. And I feel if this video is connecting with you, you are part of that collective that is really on that leading edge of this new way of manifesting. So I'm going to go ahead and get the cards and shuffle here. But I was also picking up that right now, the first thing I wrote down in my journal actually is that you are going through a massive throat chakra upgrade and clearing. So I didn't get any more information on that while I was journaling. I'm going to see if anything else wants to come up here. I also wrote down, follow the feeling of lightness and ease when it comes to your work and creations. The feeling of lightness is leading you into higher levels of alignment. I also wrote down, you're going through a calibration, a recalibration. Things are being positively rearranged in your life. So if you are finding yourself out of sync with your usual rhythm, not in a negative way, but just kind of desiring to approach things differently or to do things differently, I'm hearing in a different rhythm. This is being divinely guided right now. You're going through a recalibration that is actually positively rearranging your life. Now, we have the 3 of Wands card here, and also the 10 of Wands reversed. I'm hearing release responsibility from what is no longer yours to carry. And for many people, I feel like this may be in the context of relationships, not just romantic relationships, but friendships as well, acquaintanceships, connections with others, just in the most general sense. And I feel a message coming through about, as you're opening yourself up to moving forward with your life, expanding forward, new ideas, new opportunities, advancing, it's going to be important to reaffirm to yourself what is not yours to carry, to not take responsibility for how other people may feel triggered by your expansion, by your growth, and also to not feel responsible for their healing, for their growth, as you may have felt in the past, because I feel like this is something that potentially could subconsciously hold you back from progressing forward. This feeling as though you have to control how other people are going to react to you or react to your steps forward. We also have the 9 of Wands in the reverse position and the 9 of Swords. Okay, so there's someone here feeling a lot of heavy energy because they're refusing to budge on something, refusing to compromise on something. Wow. Okay. So this is a conflicted energy. This is someone who, from their heart, wants to make some kind of move towards you, wants to connect with you, wants to make some kind of offer towards you. For many of you, this may be romantic. Now, do keep in mind that I do tend to pick up on many different people, threads of energy, and situations in these readings. So only take what connects with you personally. But I feel as though this may be someone that you've released responsibility for, feeling as though you are responsible for their healing or their growth or their reaction to you. I feel like you are here in the Hierophant reversed energy. I'm hearing a divine rebellion. But I said in my recent Divine Feminine mini reading that your very existence is a rebellion to the system, a rebellion to the status quo. Your very energy that you are exuding naturally deconstructs systems that are part of the old world. And I feel like this person themselves, part of them has been stubbornly trying to hold on to that old world, while at the same time their heart has been pulled towards you, the Hierophant reversed, the one who is rebelling against those systems, the one who is deconstructing them. Can I get any other information about this person? With the Knight of Swords, I see this person jumping into fast-moving action towards you. And I hear the word pursuing, like this person wants to pursue you. They want to be a pursuer here. Someone could be an air sign or a fire sign. I'm getting a lot of that energy here. Yeah, with the Hermit, this is someone I'm hearing. I don't know who this is for. I feel like if this is for you, this is some romantic situation. And I feel this person saying, well, there's a couple messages coming through here. The first one is, I would rather be alone than try to be with anyone besides you. It's like this person feels as though they are choosing between making a move towards you and being alone, because they know that no one else lives up to you. No one else affects them in the way that you do. But I also see with this Hermit card representing that this person is finding you, because we have the High Priestess representing you. They're finding the High Priestess by going into the Hermit mode. When they go within themselves, they find you there energetically. When they sit alone with themselves, even though this person may not traditionally meditate, when they go into the stillness, when they're lying in bed late at night, when they are alone with themselves, that is when they feel themselves energetically connecting with you as the High Priestess. And I actually see this person pulling back somewhat from certain parts of their community that may be very conventional or 3D based in order to go into this divine loneliness, so to speak, this hermit mode, to go deep within themselves and to, I'm hearing, recognize you. It's like they see you more clearly when they are alone, or when they're pulling back a little bit from those structures or those belief systems, or people that are very tied in with those belief systems that may be part of their community. I'm hearing you help me find myself. That's how this person feels, but it's deeply conflicted because they seem to have been deeply entrenched in some kind of system that is like the very system you are deconstructing. I'm hearing a double agent. This is so strange. I feel almost like this person feels like they're betraying their system or their upbringing or their family or whatever structure they've come from, because your existence is it's a rebellion. Your very existence is a rebellion to the very same system that they are in or a part of, or that they've been part of. And it's almost like they're conflicted because part of them feels like they're betraying their own belief system or their upbringing or the people around them by connecting with you. And yet their heart is pulling them towards you. And they can't deny that. Can I get any more information here on this person? Yeah, this person I feel will be making some very rapid changes with the Eight of Wands. I see a lot of momentum here, and they're simply feeling a lot of that energetic momentum towards you as well. You've really sparked this person into action. Someone could have Sagittarius energy in their birth chart here. Yeah, this is someone who's terrified to miss an opportunity with you, or who feels like they already missed an opportunity with you in the past. I saw a lamb, like a white lamb, and for some reason I heard something about a sacrificial lamb. Maybe this is going to get so deep, but maybe you were like an outcast of this system or of society generally. It's almost like you were treated like the sacrificial lamb of this system. But after this system sacrificed you metaphorically, maybe threw you out or threw you under the bus in some kind of sense, they weren't expecting that you were going to rise from the ashes. They weren't expecting that when they treated you as a sacrificial lamb, you were going to rise from the ashes and become a phoenix, and that you were going to soar. And I don't know who this is for. This is really, really strange and specific. I mean, this could just be metaphoric to how like society treated you, or society may have treated you like an outcast or judged you in some kind of way, but now you are soaring. Now you are shining. Now your thriving is undeniable. And I feel now you are telling your story, or you are standing up to the system, or the way you are living is contradicting and rebelling against the system itself. And this person is so conflicted because simultaneously they are deeply admiring that about you. I see them looking at you with such secret admiration, but it also feels like they're trying to somehow keep up some kind of appearance on the surface as well to the people around them. It feels like part of this connection to them feels like something that they have to hide outwardly, or they feel like if people around them knew how they feel about you, or that they want to move towards you, somehow these people would throw them out as well, or they would feel as though they betrayed them. But I do see with the Three of Cups, this is someone who I see that they're going to move towards you regardless. They seem to want to connect with you. I'm hearing to connect in our secret places. I don't know what that means. Like, something about this feels shrouded in mystery, shrouded in secrecy. Maybe the two of you, it's like when you see each other, when you meet up, there's some element of secrecy about it, or there's an element that what you share between you is so sacred. And it's almost like you meet in these in-between spaces is the best way I can describe it. And it's very interesting because now this is taking me to something I journaled about. Actually, it was yesterday, and it's about spiritual liminal spaces. So this may actually end up being the title of this video, because I knew this was going to be a YouTube video title. I just didn't know it was going to be this one. But what I was going to title this video was, you are meeting people in spiritual liminal spaces. And I know that many of you have heard of these so-called backrooms, or heard about spiritual liminal spaces, or liminal spaces in a more literal sense. And so when I was familiar with what these were, but sometimes when I look up an exact definition on Google, it's funny how the definition actually starts tying and weaving into actual spiritual themes that I've been picking up on. So I really felt that come through here, because I'm going to read you what I found when I looked up liminal spaces, and tell me if this doesn't seem to describe how you are connecting either with this person or with other people generally who are still kind of exiting that 3D way of being, but aren't quite fully able to grasp the fifth dimensional reality that you are living in. So what came up was, a liminal space is a traditional area or state, often characterized by a sense of ambiguity and disorientation existing between two distinct places, phases, or conditions. A threshold where one state ends and another begins, often evoking feelings of unease, nostalgia, or surrealism, marking the passage from one state to another. I don't know about you guys, but that all really struck me, because I realized when I was reading this definition of liminal spaces that that is exactly how you seem to be meeting this person, or maybe a lot of people generally. It's almost like you connect with people who are still very much caught mostly in a different state, in a more traditional state. But when they meet or connect with you, it's almost like they experience this blend of disorientation, ambiguity, Maybe even that feeling like, is this real? Are you even real? I know I did a reading that I think was titled, Are You Even Real? Because that's how a lot of people feel about you as they meet you in this spiritual liminal space. Like, are you even a real person? Do you even exist? This can't be real. There's that element of surrealism, but also nostalgia, because some of these people are actually individuals coming from your past. So there's that natural feeling of nostalgia. For others of them, they've not even met you in this lifetime, but they've been connecting with you spiritually, subconsciously in some way. So when they meet you physically, there is this unexplainable feeling of nostalgia around that. And yet there's also that unease as well. Like, something about it is familiar, it's drawing you in, but it also creates this unease. Like, what is this? Where am I? This doesn't quite feel real. And yet it's the threshold where one state ends and another begins, where they are being given this portal of opportunity to shift from the 3D, from their current way of thinking and being, into a higher level of existence, kind of like walking with you through these back rooms, through these liminal spaces, these like transitional spaces, to pass from one level of consciousness to another through their meetings or connection points with you. So let me know in the comments if this concept of spiritual backrooms or spiritual liminal spaces connects with you. I really feel like this could be a cool topic to explore further in a reading or another podcast video or something like that. But I definitely feel that for those of you connecting with this thread of energy, that is how you're meeting this person. And that's how they're feeling about this too. It's like nostalgia, surrealism, a little bit of unease, recognizing on a deeper level that one state is ending and they're on the threshold of another state that's becoming, but not really fully being able to grasp that, and yet being so magnetically drawn into it. That's the best way I can describe this person's feelings towards you. So I'm going to go ahead and reshuffle the cards here. I definitely feel you've thrown this person into a hermit mode. I know we've said that, but it feels like I need to re-emphasize that. I'm hearing you've given them a lot to think about, a lot to dwell on, and right now they're spending a lot of time in their head thinking about you. Specifically, I need to know, what are they thinking about you? Whoa, okay, a card came flying out. They're thinking of some kind of challenge that they're being presented with here, but also how it's challenging them to grow in some way or to master something. I feel like you've called them into some kind of a challenge, to challenge themselves in some way, to reach for a higher level of consciousness or more of an open-mindedness. And they sense that challenge and they feel the weight of that, but they also know that as they push through it, they're going to ascend to a higher version of themselves. There's something very motivating about this for them as well. There is a fear here with the Two of Coins in the reverse position of things being imbalanced between the two of you. Specifically, they are concerned that they're not going to be able to give you enough to make this connection worth your while. And there may be a masculine influence around them with the King of Swords, who is kind of whispering in their ear in this direction, like, are you sure that you're going to be good enough for them? Do you really have enough to offer them? This could just be their inner voice, but I see for some of them, this could be an external person kind of implanting doubt within them as well, especially because of how much you are so clearly shining at this time. It's almost like there's a voice either externally or within them saying, are you sure that you can be good enough for them? Are you sure that you can rise to their level here? With the Three of Wands in the upright position, yeah, this is someone, even though they're aware of that and they're afraid of that, there's someone who does want to move forward. They want to take their time to build this right, is what I'm getting from this person, which I know sounds contradictory with that jumping into fast action, but it's actually not. And let me explain. So yes, this person gave us the Knight of Swords earlier, where they want to jump into fast action. But what I mean is fast action to get their life together, to work on themselves, I'm hearing to create the openings in their life that they need to be able to step through doorways with you or to move forward with you. I don't know exactly what that means. They're taking a lot of action though in their personal life. But when it comes to building with you externally, this is someone who wants to do it right. They are very patient with this process. They're not someone who's going to rush or pressure you or rush or pressure the process itself. They're really in this for the long term here. And I feel like their commitment shows through their willingness to take things very slowly and cautiously with you in the physical realm when it comes to your external connection. Can I get any more information on what this person, I feel like in their heart, they've already committed to being in this for the long haul, if that makes sense. Like they know their heart is fully in this with you for the long term. Yeah, because with the 10 of Pentacles and the 8 of Swords, while they've been feeling in some kind of dilemma here, probably because of that mental conflict, probably because they know that your existence is a rebellion to the system that they've been so entrenched in and reliant on to some extent, they also see you as everything they've ever desired with the 10 of Pentacles. And ultimately, they know that this is what they're going to be moving towards here. Yeah, the Queen of Cups. You representing the Queen of Cups is this beautiful, flowing, nurturing, kind, warm-hearted kind of energy. Someone who speaks to their soul, not to their mind, not to their logic. You're someone who it's like, I see this beam of a signal coming out from your third eye and reaching them. It's like a majority of how this person feels you is coming like vibrationally, spiritually. It's emanating through your third eye. And this is reminding me of something else I wrote in my journal. And I did feel this related to this person for some of you, which is when you become consciously connected to someone, they feel you more strongly, like through the quantum realm. I feel like you are someone who's very powerful in the quantum realm. So you're always emanating this super strong, beautiful signal. And not only do people feel it, but it actually creates this kind of umbrella of protection, in a sense, in the divine realm. People who have the privilege of being strongly connected to you consciously also receive this sort of psychic uplift in energy, in a sense, that you could refer to as sort of a form of protection, where there's like this natural uptick in their vibration, their energy. They may notice more circumstances or opportunities happening that they would label as lucky, just as a result of being connected to your energy and how that raises their personal vibration as a byproduct. And this is one of those people who recently has become more consciously connected to you. And as a result of that, they're feeling your energy more strongly, and it's making you even more irresistible to them. So I'm going to go ahead and close this reading here, but I am going to continue channeling into all of this in the extended reading. So if you do want to continue on with me to the extended, then the link to do so is under this video in the pinned comment and description box. You can listen from either Patreon or YouTube memberships, depending on your personal preference. I also would love for you to subscribe if you haven't yet. Join our beautiful community of like-minded, conscious, creative beings here on YouTube. You can also follow me on Instagram at Magnetize Yourself. And you can now listen to my channeled music under my artist name, Songs by Infinity. My latest original song, channeled song, is called The Light in Your Room, and the link to listen for free is in the description box underneath this video. And do follow me on Spotify if you want to be the first to know when I release new music. So I think that's everything. Thank you so much again for being here, for co-creating along with me. I am sending you all huge amounts of love and light energy. Have a beautiful remainder of your day, and I will connect with you here again in Monday's collective reading.